Good morning. My name is Mighty Stream, and today is June the 4th, the first Saturday in June. I hope yesterday was beautiful for you. I am brought to you by Hope Through Navigation. This is our Hood Recovery Services, and I am looking forward to doing the Just for Today in a meditation with you. Let me share the screen with you, and let's get right into it. June 4th, build, don't destroy. Our negative our negative sense of self has been replaced by a positive concern for others. I like that. That's from the basic text, page 16. Spreading gossip feeds a dark hunger in us. Sometimes we think the only way we can feel good about ourselves is to make someone else look bad by comparison. But the kind of self-esteem that can be purchased at another's expense is hollow and not worth the price. How then do we deal with our negative sense of self? Simple. We replace it with a positive concern for others. Rather than dwell on our low self-esteem, we turn to those around us and seek to be of service to them. This may seem to be a way of avoiding the issue, but it's not. There's nothing we can do by dwelling on our low sense of self except work ourselves into a stew of self-pity. But by replacing our self-pity with active, loving concern for others, we become the kind of people we can respect. The way to build our self-esteem is not to tear others down, but to build them up through love and positive concern. To help us with this, we can ask ourselves if we are contributing to the problem or to the solution. Today, we can choose to build instead of destroy. Just for today, though I may be feeling low, I don't need to tear someone down to build myself up. Today, I will replace my negative sense of self with a positive concern for others. I will build, not destroy. How beautiful is that? I will build and not destroy. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you, God. Grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, one of the things that this Just for Today is discussing is how do we build our own self-esteem so that we don't have to go around gossiping about other people, because gossip is very detrimental. And I was just sitting here thinking about a lady that's in my life. Um, and uh, she I want to say there's times when she does actually talk to me about her own life, but she's not in recovery. And generally speaking, when she begins a conversation, she'll start out, I don't know if you heard about, and I always know after that is going to be about 5 minutes of indirectly putting someone down for something that they either did or said that disturbed her. And I've gotten to the point where I really don't listen. I can see her coming a mile away, and I really do not listen. to what she has to say. When she's done saying something, I say something that is possibly the reason why a person would act that way, to give her something to think about. I remember a conversation I was having with someone. And before I even got into it, I said, I know this is gossip. And I looked at their face to see their reaction. They looked like they were so hungry. They were so hungry and so ready for whatever I was about to say. And I looked at that and I heard myself say that. And something said, go in a little bit like you're going to get started. And you pull yourself out of this because we don't gossip. I tell myself that all the time. We don't gossip. I don't gossip. I try not to gossip about people. If I'm having to report something, that's different. But I believe character assassination of individuals is wrong. And I know people do it all the time because gossiping is exciting, right? Busybodies, finding out other people's business and passing judgment on them. All that time and energy is time better spent developing your own character. It's time better spent talking to someone, maybe your sponsor, about your own behavior. It's time better spent serving others. And that's the gist of this Just for Today is instead of allowing your own self-esteem issues to eke out through gossip, why not be of service to other people? That is a better way to build and not destroy, right? I don't know if you believe in the universal connectivity of human beings, or just let's just say the universe in general, because I believe the trees, the grass, the animals, I believe that we're all in this circle of life. And I believe that what I do or don't do to the environment affects other people, whether it's immediate or not, right? Whether it's something that I can see or not, it has its effect. And I believe that I am held accountable spiritually for what I do or do not do, how I do things, and why. And I believe that verbalizing negativity changes the atmosphere of anyone in my vicinity. Um, I wish I knew this particular doctor's name, but you could research it on YouTube and you put in there in the search field the effect of words on water. You could go to the effects of words on water, and you will see this beautiful video showing the effects that our words, certain words have on, I wouldn't say certain words, all words, but in the video, they give you specific words and show the effect on water. So I personally believe that positive energy versus negative energy has the same fruit, right? I believe if I plant apples in the sense of positive energy, I'm going to get apples. I believe if I plant lemons in the sense of maybe negative, and I'm just using a analogy. So if I plant sour lemons, I'm planning on receiving sour lemons, right? And so what we do is important. And if you are a person that is struggling with self-esteem, and I don't know what the struggle could be. Some people have poor body image. There's some people have beautiful body image, but they have horrible behaviors. So if in the sense of body image, if a person is appearing to be down on themselves and having poor body image, there's something that you can do about that. Now, if you have great body image but your behaviors show that you have a low self-worth, then there's still something in regards to the self-esteem, but that needs to be worked on, but maybe it's not in regards to the body, okay? Or it could be, because behaviors sometimes tell you a little bit more about what's going on with someone on the inside, right? So you can look like a model, right? But you treat yourself in such a way that shows that you really don't love yourself too much, right? And those would be things that we could work on. Maybe you're a person, you're not happy with your academic level, right? You went and got your GED because you knew you needed it to be able to get certain jobs, but you don't feel okay with just that GED. You want to go on to, college to get a degree, further your education, but you don't believe that you can do it. That is self-esteem, right? That deals with your self-esteem, how you esteem yourself, how you look up the word esteem, how you view yourself, the value that you place on yourself is low, right? Because you don't believe that you have what it takes to. I didn't either. The way that I was raised was that vocationally speaking, my vocation was going to be teaching the word of God, right? And I was going to do that until the end of the world came, and I was going to try and save as many souls with the word of God as possible. So the ideal of having a further education was not promoted. It was not suggested. It was just, education was seen as a basic need to survive in life, but you don't intentionally pursue um, education coming from individuals that don't value your relationship or the God that you have chosen, right? And so I was set apart at a very early age. And education, even though I was super, super bright and ahead of my class in many ways, um, although I was younger, I I don't know. I wasn't doing anything extra spiritual, right? I mean, I was living a double life by the time I graduated. I wasn't doing anything extra spiritual that would say that I would actually have a vocation of teaching the Bible to anyone. Um, Even though I did go on to do that, I have always seen that as something that comes so naturally easy to me that sometimes I tend to make less of it than I should. I want to do some of the other things that other people are doing, right? So I've always had that ideal that was the reason why I'm still working on these degrees at this late age. I'm not going to just only focus on that anymore. I'm getting older and I have not attained the things that I want to attain for myself. Mind you, prophetically, I have actually, in regards to teaching at Bible colleges, I have actually been in alignment. It has worked out that I would end up teaching the Bible to others anyway, right? Because that's what was prophesied as the reason why I was born into the world. So regardless to my view of it, it's still what I ended up doing. And so I'm saying that to say that self-esteem is deeply personal. If you don't believe that you can do it, you probably won't. And if you're a person that is suffering academically speaking in regards to your value for yourself, or if it's your body image, maybe it's your socioeconomic status, in other words, how much you make, how much money you make or don't make. Maybe you're not okay needing government assistance and you're like, I don't want to be on government assistance the rest of my life. Maybe you are making a good piece of money, but you know that you could do more. I'm saying that self-esteem is very specific to the individual. And a lot of times we'll feel good, our esteem about ourselves will be good in one area, but then in another area, we'll find that we have a really hard time accepting who we are and where we're at. You know, when I was growing up, I had the longest set of feet, and people would joke about how long my feet were. And I did not realize that they stood out so, they were just very skinny and very long. And I had people in my neighborhood even talking about how long my feet were. I had people in my neighborhood talking about how skinny I was, how ugly I was, how large my eyes were. I'm telling you, my childhood in regards to people joking about me and making mean comments about me set me completely up to be harder on myself in that regards, in regards to my appearance, than I actually needed to be, because a lot of that stuff, I grew into my feet, I grew into my eyes. Did you know that your eyes is one feature about yourself that does not change size? The eyes you're born with are the eyes you're gonna have, and the rest of you is going to grow into those. So I learned that and I was like, oh, now that makes sense, because today they're still somewhat large, but they don't come across as being all that large. Right? So I don't know, some of this stuff just changes with time. But here again, the point of this just for today is that work on you. Build, not build just others up, but build on working, work on building yourself up. Work on your self-esteem issues so that you don't have to spend time tearing other people down, even if that's not really your motive. Maybe you just get caught in a conversation and it was never your intention to harp on another individual or gossip badly about another individual or slander them even. Maybe that wasn't your intention, but because the doorway opened and it was easier to walk through it than to resist, you found yourself in a bashing session of someone that you know so little about. And it kind of eventually you found yourself in the middle of the discussion feeling like, at least I don't do that. That's still not okay. We want for you to focus on you. Focus on doing service work. And I've said this to a few people. Find something you love to do that you would do free. It's your passion. Do that and watch it grow, especially if it's something others can benefit from. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow.